What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sharpest Tool. This is JRP, your host, along with Bosco himself in the flesh.
Yes, sir.
I guess not the flesh, in the virtual booth here. Back at it for another episode. Bosco, it's good to be back, man.
It's great to be back. Are you kidding me?
It's all like, look. Here's one of the things that you're going to realize about this duo that you have here. It's a ball of energy that's like just ready to go off at any moment. And so you're going to get probably a lot of humor, probably a lot of energy. You're going to feel like pumped before you get to your next job. But that's what I want to make sure we bring. And the other thing too is I pulled these up. I want to see how good Bosco is. Okay. Last week we did some riddles and I got a few more riddles. Now these ones are best riddles for kids. So
Oh, this makes it even better. Thank you.
This is going to be even easier for Bosco, but let's see. Okay, we'll start with something simple. You've heard this one before, okay? What has many rings but no fingers?
I would say a tree. Trees rings?
That's actually good. I mean, so for those of you who don't know, Bosco's an avid camper, fisher. He's an all-around outdoorsman. So this makes sense. This makes sense. I accept that answer. Okay. The actual answer that they had in here was telephone, which has many rings, but no fingers. Come on. That was okay.
You know what? If I were to ask any kid, can you tell me what a dial phone is? I just want to see what's going on.
A rotary phone.
Yeah.
Okay. Last one. If you drop a yellow hat in the Red Sea, what does it become?
A yellow hat in the Red Sea?
Yep.
It's definitely not a red hat.
We'll accept that.
I'm assuming this has to do with like mixing colors, and I'm gonna no. This is
a yellow hat in the Red Sea because it just becomes wet. It's in the water, so it's.
Oh my God. The problem I have with riddles is I will literally diagnose everything until we.
Yep. You see, that's the problem. I love riddles because it forces me to like take off my marketing hat, take off the complexity, and just get simple with it. Just especially riddles for kids. Like, to be fair though, I don't know if my kids would be able to answer those. So that's one thing that I think they got to change the nomenclature.
What was the age group on this? Was this like 9 to 12? Because I probably am more in like the 6 to 8 category. Somewhere in there.
I probably need like the 3 to 6 one. That's probably my MO there. But you know what? Let's get back to it though. These riddles, it's funny because you could play riddles with your client base on social media. By the way, great way to engage your audience on social media is when you have an active, engaged follower base. Start throwing some like plumber riddles out there. Like, see if they know their plumbing nomenclature. And I think you'd be surprised at what you find with all the DIYers in the world today, right?
Man,
so many people have done these things on their own. I don't know. I'd be curious. I'd be curious to see what engagement you get.
Oh, we're going to have to bring that on the next episode. Throw out some of those type of riddles.
Bosco would answer your post. So you want to make sure to do that. But, social media, if we step back, social media, we talked a lot last time about like engagement, maximizing engagement. But what's interesting is that's only one aspect about social media. Social media's got a lot of different ways that you can leverage it and use it. One of those is like lead generation. Every business owner out there is super focused on lead generation. How do I keep my boards full? How do I keep my techs busy? It's a super important thing that you naturally have to be aware of and conscious of as a business owner. And it seems counterintuitive to invest in social media for the sake of getting engagement or increasing engagement. We don't often see or think about the downstream effects of social media. So I want to talk about that today, like using social media for lead generation. What's your perspective on that?
Well, first of all, I think that's a great way to build up a following base. When you build up that following base, we've talked about this before. I think we talked about this last week, where it was all about making sure you stay consistent with your followers. First of all, you've now built up a client base. You've got this. This is awesome. This is great. You're staying engaged, but we need to generate leads. Number one priority, we just talked about it. Need to generate leads. So I think when it comes to social media, brand awareness, we've talked about this before, getting engaged with your community, you're bringing them to your site, you're keeping them engaged with your posts in terms of your videos, in terms of your DIY, in terms of your riddles that you got going on over there. But what happens is over time, they're going to remember you. And we talked about this last week about the customer journey. Yeah. It's all over the place, but this is just one part of it. By actually staying consistent with your client base, you're going to start developing people who are going to be returning back to you. And in turn, going to build out the base to people that know those people, engage with those people, friends of those people, the searches for those people, things like that. So I think this is actually a great, now it's not a heavy lead driver, but a lead driver nonetheless, as well as building up the awareness over time. I think there's a distinction that we also want to call out on that. A lot of people sometimes resort to this. Doesn't mean you can't generate leads, but it is a lead driver that feeds into your business's success.
Yeah. I think there's a case to be made about like how we define lead, right? When it's driving leads, right? Because oftentimes I think we have this idea in our head as business owners that a lead is somebody who is what I call silver platter, right? They are being delivered up silver platter. They're like, hey, I'm in this situation. I need a trenchless sewer dig. I know it's going to cost me $50,000, but I'm ready. You're the guy. You don't even have to come. You don't even have to
sign a dotted line. Here it is.
I pay you over the phone, right? Anybody who's been in the business long enough, we know that that's not always the case. Actually, 99.9% of the time, it's not the case.
Yeah.
There is a nurturing aspect that has to come about. And what's funny is there's a lot of ability that you have with social media to actually generate leads in the sense of people who are potentially interested in what you have to offer. But then there's the sales aspect, right? They actually place a phone call or they submit a contact form. And then your team has to reach out and give them the experience, show them why your business is better than the rest, provide value for them that will move them down the funnel into the point where you actually book a technician to go out to the home or whatever it might be. And so lead generation in the traditional sense of somebody who's like, I have a leak, I'm ready to go. A little bit different, right? Because I don't go on Facebook. I don't know about you, Bosco, but I don't go on Facebook being like, oh, I need to get a plumber. I'm going to go on Facebook to find a plumber. Some people do. And I think we've seen a bit of a shift, but nowhere near the amount of people who potentially go to Google to run that search or potentially it's just a different vehicle, right?
Yeah, no, and that's just it. I think I love the way you said that, different vehicle, but it's moving them down that funnel, just like a good, well-working toilet. You got to flush it down, get them right to the end. That's what we got to do here. You got to get it from one point to the other. That's how this works. Sure. And I always try to frame it in the mind of a technician and how this is actually going to work for them. But ideally, and I think the key thing here too is about relevance. You don't go on looking for a plumber on Facebook. You don't go on Instagram looking for a plumber. But guess what people do? They go on Facebook and they go on Instagram, they go on TikTok, they go on these different platforms for some sort of entertainment, some sort of just break away from the monotonous day-to-day activities. But guess what's going to happen? Everyone's got plumbing problems. Everyone's got their AC problems. Everyone's got it. And if you're not on those platforms engaging with your customers, you're not moving them down the funnel properly, right? Yeah. Like you're targeting in terms of relevance, right? So if you're hitting on the things that matter most to people, what's happening around the seasons, we talked about this last week too, building around the seasonality. Like we're getting ready to hit, we're in fall now. This is it. We're getting ready to get in the cold season. Like I'm telling you right now, guess what? Get the furnaces going, get the heaters going. People are going to eventually start searching for it. So it's time to prepare now, build up that relevance for that market.
Yeah. You mentioned something too. Like people do go on for other reasons, but everybody has plumbing problems, right? Everybody's got plumbing problems. What's interesting is you may see something, but like leaks start out slow before they turn into massive issues, right? So oftentimes, let's just say, you see a small problem, right? And then you're like, I know I need to reach out to somebody, but it's not the primo importance to you as an individual. It's something that's just lingering there. And eventually it's going to get to the point where you can't ignore it anymore, right? And the point where you can ignore it, where you witness that business who can actually solve the problem for you, you might be perusing on Facebook on a break, or you might be, on Instagram or Snapchat in the Uber ride to work, and you see an ad and you're like, I've been meaning to call a plumber. And all of a sudden I see the social media ad or the social media post that somebody shared, and it brings it top of mind. My issue all of a sudden flashes back. The thing that's been in the back of my mind is now in the front of my mind. And I have the opportunity to place a phone call to be able to engage in a discussion with somebody. I think that's so important when it comes to leveraging this for lead generation, right?
Oh, yeah, okay, 100%. It's just like when my wife gives me a honey-do list. If I put it out of sight, it's out of mind. I don't have to do it. Same concept here when people are like, again, if the problem's out of sight, out of mind, right? So when you bring it back, and I like what you said, top of mind, when you bring it back to your customers and your followers of like, hey, by the way, you remember that one problem you had at home where it was leaking? Duct tape's not going to fix this. You got to give us a call.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you double down on that with what's known as remarketing. So if you never engage in remarketing, this is how you stay in front of people consistently. So people see your ad once, and it's not just about seeing it once. You probably all had the experience, right? You're talking about plumbing issues. I remember the first time I ever saw this, how remarketing has kind of evolved, or advertising on social platforms has evolved. I was talking with a buddy of mine about Turo.
Yeah.
It's this car rental. It's kind of like what Uber did to taxis. Turo's kind of doing to like Hertz
Enterprise,
and some of the car
Hertz,
rental companies, right? So individuals, if I own a car, I can rent my car to people. And so I'm just talking about this with a buddy of mine. I drop him off wherever he's at. I pull up and I'm just, once I finish whatever I'm doing, pull up an Instagram, sure shooting. I see an ad for Turo. I have never seen this company before in my life. These phantom ads all of a sudden start following us around based on the conversations that we're having. The Skynet conversation, different episodes.
That's how it works.
Here. but the funny part about it is it's there's a way to engage people based on where they're at, what they're talking about, how they're moving about their day. And the thing I always like to think about Bosco too is the opportunity cost, right? Because if you're not there, chances are somebody else is. If you're not present, following somebody along their journey, I promise you, the digital landscape is mature enough. Somebody else is taking that position for you.
I've said this before. Social media is like a good relationship. Just the same concept. If you're not present in your relationship, somebody else will be. Just saying, you gotta be present.
Think about the relationship, right? You're going down the street and you find somebody and you're like, they intrigue you. You want to build a relationship with them, right? And then you duck. You're out of sight, out of mind. You don't talk to them for a month, and then all of a sudden you give them a call and you're like, hey, can we hang out? And at the same time that you saw them, there's another person that saw them, right? And they're like, wow, I want to build a relationship with that person. And they go over, and not only do they introduce themselves, but they start courting them. They start being like, hey, right away, let's I'd love to take you here or go to dinner or whatever. And they do that for a full month, right? By the time you get back around to calling them in a month, do you think they're more likely to want to build a relationship with you or the other person that was with them the whole month through? Right? It's going to be the latter. It's going to be the person that has been with them. They've grown to trust them. They've grown to build an authentic relationship with them, right? And that's kind of like social media. It's in a similar sense, right?
How do you think I landed this podcast? You should see your voicemails. I mean, I'm just consistently.
He did. I had to delete so many of them.
But it is. So, it's exactly that. You need to build up your engagement with them. You need to be in front of them, top of mind. Again, treat every client of yours, every customer of yours, like you're in a relationship. Always stay with them.
How over time though? So you set things up. You have an idea of what you think your customer is like, right? What's the demographic information? What's their interests? These are all things that you set on social media targeting. It's all demographic interest-based targeting, right? I'm basically stepping back and saying, I think my customer is this, they look like this, and they behave this way. So there's kind of a starting point that you start with because you got to control the focus.
Yep.
How do you optimize this over time? What type of stuff as a marketer do marketers typically look at, Bosco? I have my thoughts on it. I want to hear yours though. What type of stuff do we as marketers look at in order to optimize these to make them as impactful as possible?
Oof.
Loaded question. I know.
We're looking at a lot.
Right. Wait, I feel like I need a like sound effect. I don't have it in here yet, but we'll have to find that one.
No, when it comes to, first of all, you're never going to hit 100% of the time, right? Yeah. That's why we have the term optimization, right? Because you're consistently going through and crawling through what you have and revamping, reiterating to optimize for what you're trying to accomplish for your client base, right? So over time, you've built up a client base. You've got a small sample set of people you've worked with, your customers. So from there, you've got a general idea, whether it's based on territory, income, demographics, right? Family size, right? Age, the median age is what you're looking for. But when you start to build up the sample set, then you can actually start over time targeting that specific audience, right? Guess what? People like to hang out with people they like that are like them in similar fashion, right? So guess what? There's similarities. And now all of a sudden you're building up on that demographic that has the same interests, right?
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, again, I go back to this. You DIY, I DIY. We love doing this thing, but guess what's going to happen? You and I I'm probably going to see that ad now that you just talked about. That's what's going to happen. I'm going to sit there and start renting out my car.
That's the true test. We'll see what ads pop up in our phone after recording this.
But that's what happens. It's about optimization of the campaigns. You have to refine it. And I always try to stress that to a lot of people, right? As long as you're staying consistent in refining them to build up what you're going after and staying top of mind, you're going to have huge success. But that being said, backing up a little bit, you want to make sure you take your sample set that you've worked with, your demographics, go out there and target it, and then refine over time. Keep building up that client base, right?
Yeah. When I think about like setting up ads for this type of thing, or the types of posts that you want to do, there's two different types of marketing. So if you step back, take Facebook, for example, you can run advertising the same way you might run it on Google, right? Mm-hmm. With banner, like a picture ad or a text ad, and you have a target audience that you're getting after, and then the ads kind of try and show up on their feed. But then there's also generation of content, and you put the content on your page, and then you're boosting it to the same audience, but it's content that's consistently on your page. It's not like just an advertisement. You're boosting this content to be able to expand the reach. By the way, when you do a content package, you have to throw advertising at it. This is so important.
It's all about engagement and reach, engagement and reach.
Engagement and reach. That should be the tip of your tongue. Engagement, reach, engagement and reach. You're only going to reach by posting just to your Facebook page 1 to 3%, right, of your user base. And let's just face it, if you have 100 followers, even 1,000 followers, you're getting in front of 30 people doing that. That's not going to dramatically transform your business or expand the brand. But I think about when we set up advertising or we do content, we generate content. Think about this. You're taking your largest possible audience and getting in front of these people. People that don't necessarily have a need right now.
Yep.
And they don't necessarily know who you are and what you do. So what should the message be? Well, here's who we are and what we do. And here's the problems that we solve. So a lot of it's evangelizing that to the user. And then over time, starting to throw out offers or things that are geared more towards common problems that people might face. Or if you're doing a video or a photo of you fixing a specific problem, right? Like doing a water heater flush, or you're fixing and doing an AC tune-up or something like that. And then coupling that with like a coupon or something to entice somebody to call today to get this done for your system. That's the type of stuff where I think as you're building campaigns, it becomes really powerful. And that's something that partnering with a company, whether it's Scorpion or some other social media company, to be able to help drive that for you. Scorpion's got a wonderful ability to do this, but that's something that really, I think, can benefit a business as they're continuing to grow and expand the brand, because that long term is going to start to bring down lead costs in all these different areas as well.
Yeah, and you were hitting on something too, and I think what a lot of business owners that I've spoken to they run into the struggle is, well, Bosco, I've done this for 2 months now. I've done this for 5 months now. I should be having the amazing result. How do we measure the success of this, right? Going back to the reach and engagement of boosting posts, right? There's two things we have to remember here. It's exactly it. Your page is your hub on Facebook, as an example, or your Instagram profile is your hub, right? You're drawing people to it. You're getting them to engage with it. So if we take Facebook and you're boosting the posts that are on that page, you're reaching out further and further. Reach. There's that word again, right? We're engaging. We're reaching out further, right? Then you've got your Facebook advertising. You can hit a bigger market than just what's on your page. That's 100% different there. But the measurement of success, right? We need to have benchmarks that we're going after. And it's about engagement to drive back to your page, that drives back to really your site with the content on it, on the why and the how they need you. Talk about you, talk about what you're doing, why you're here, get people engaged, right? People they love just to know more about you. Then they start to want to go, I'm interested in what you have to provide, right?
Yeah.
So again, the measurement, I think, of success is a challenge for most, because they're trying to digest it, because a lot of business owners are like, I need the calls now, let's go, the immediate. But really, you need to measure the engagement over time, because as you build that up, your awareness is building, and you're going to see that return to a lower cost per lead, more organic results, things of that nature.
I think that's such a good call out. That's such a good call out, because if somebody's their motif is, I need the leads now, this isn't the right channel necessarily, right? Yeah. There's other channels of advertising and places to spend your money online that if you're not maxing those out, those are better bets for that kind of short-term pain point. But over time, as you're building out, and we'll kind of end on this too, it's a good place to leave this. As you're building out your campaign, as your business is growing, as your business is moving from the immediate need of leads, which never goes away fully, right? But as the business matures and the size of the investment into marketing is able to grow, this is a stage that you want to invest into, because you're going to get to a point where you do what you do so good, so well, so efficiently, so effectively. Over time, it becomes this repeatable experience that your customers can count on. You're going to want to expose the brand and that experience to more and more and more people. And over time, one of the vehicles that you use to do that is social media, showcasing that knowledge and expertise and how people trust you and have grown to trust you and your experience over time. This is one of the best places to do it. So that over time will manifest itself into lead generation, bringing down
and
lead costs.
Sustainable growth. I talk about this. You're not looking for the immediate growth, because immediate's just a quick spurt, you're done. We're talking about sustainable growth. This is going to be building up your base over time.
Love it. Awesome. Big knowledge drops on this one, Bosco. I'm looking forward to next week. I know we're going to talk about video and social media marketing, which is a huge part of running an effective strategy. So videos to come. You don't want to miss it. If you like this content today, definitely share it out to anybody who might need to hear it. Go ahead and give that like button a little tap and pound that subscribe button like you mean it, so you can continue to get more of all this awesome content. Once again, I'm Josh. This is Bosco from the Sharpest tool here at Scorpion. We'll talk to you next time. Thanks, everyone.